It's my first time in Seattle. What is your saying in Seattle? Like, how do you make someone comfortable and at home?
Probably, hi, how are you?
Oh my!
Copy.
uh, Anyways, I'm feeling comfortable already and among my kind. So, as you've heard, I work with Positive Young Women Voices. It's a community-based organization in Nairobi. We empower adolescent girls and young women to be self-reliant, but also to be healthy. Healthy in matters of sexual reproductive health, healthy in matters of HIV, and healthy in matters of safety against sexual and gender-based violence. So, thank you so much, Tendani, for your presentation. I was so worried when I saw a researcher before my presentation, and I didn't even make slides because I was thinking she'd say everything, and I would not have anything left to say. But I've enjoyed that session, and I've realized that most of the things that we've been saying as women living with HIV is more or less what the researchers are saying. It's just that we needed to meet somewhere in the middle, and I'm feeling like we are there now. So I'll give you a bit of how I got to understand DTG and how it came in Kenya for women. So we were in this meeting, and a member from the Ministry of Health was invited to give us a talk, and she mentioned DTG was being rolled out very soon. And she showed us the drug. It was a small drug, and for me, did I say I'm a young woman living with HIV? Oh, maybe you figured that out. So for me, as a young woman living with HIV, I was like, gosh, so you mean I won't have to wake up anymore feeling pregnant every day of my life, or feeling nauseated, or feeling strained, there are so many things that I feel when I'm on TLE. So I could not wait for TLD, and I could not even wait to go tell all the other young women who I work with and also who are within my circle about TLD. It's small, its benefits are tremendous. This is the power pill that we've been waiting for. So when it was just 2 or 3 months to be rolled out, there was this directive that was issued by the same Ministry of Health. And the directive was sort of a scare. I believe when you have power within your hands, you're supposed to use it to give hope, to give guidance, not instill fear. We already have so many other things that we are dealing with. We don't need one thing that puts fear instead. And the directive was issued, and anyone who was on TLD was expected to be switched back to whatever regimen they were on before they were switched to TLD. And for these people who are already on TLD, especially the women, they were probably on TLE or on. Okay, you know the names of those regimens. So here was all of us looking forward to this. The directive is out there that WHO has sent out a signal, and it looked like a ban. You call it a signal, but in our minds, it looked like a ban. It was like this was the worst thing that ever happened. And there were statements like, if you want to be on TLD, if you continue with this medication, you'll give birth to children with holes in their heart, or you'll give birth to children without heads. And I couldn't believe like this was the full story. Like there had to be something to it that you're not being told. So we had one young woman, she's my friend. She was on TLE, and she had acquired resistance. And because it's not part of the baseline survey when you're on medication, she didn't know if she was resistant. And the mom had to pay for money for that test to happen. And they saw truly she was resistant, and she needed to be switched, but she was not. So the mother decided to buy TLD. Actually, I think she even did a fundraiser to buy the TLD. And once she was put on TLD, she would go to this meeting because she's a young leader, and as she's presenting the way I'm presenting, she would fall down, or she would be in the audience, she would fall down, and she would look ashy. Like, ashy, like she's there but she's not there. She would sleep in the middle of meetings, and that is so unlike her. But the moment she was put on TLD, she would call us, where are you? I want to take you to lunch. Where are you? I don't know what. Can we meet on Saturday? I want to go out. She was now the girl who was more energetic than even us. And that was our case study. That was what showed us that TLD does work. That was our case study, and that is what we went with when we asked for a meeting with the Ministry of Health. Because our problem was the directive was issued, but no one was consulted among people living with HIV. Did it mean that we do not know what is good for us? Did it mean that we cannot be part of this conversation even before it happens? That is what we wanted, to be part of this conversation, to understand what is going on, not just waking up one day and there's a scare. And we were only given this meeting after we went to Twitter. You know, this is our corridors nowadays. If you do not give us space, we'll meet in Twitter. And we were able to have that meeting, and we understood what they meant. We understood what WHO was afraid of, which is okay. They are the ones who are responsible for us, and we understood that. But you see, this is very important for a person who is the end user of a product, is the end user of something, to be able to speak, to be able to be told, this is what is happening, so that we cannot make decisions. So, after our meeting, it was sadly a little too late. There was just so much out there that had caused fear. Women had taken back their regiments themselves. They had asked to be switched back to the other regiments, even if they were not of reproductive age. There was so much confusion. There was so much fear. And I was wondering, how do we even go back now? Now with the study results coming out, it shows that all this didn't have to raise such a big alarm. How will they now go back to tell the women, oh, now this is safe, now you can take it? After all that, who in their right mind would want to go back to that? And that is where the part of consultation that did not take place that now causes a problem. So after the making noise, we were involved in the validation of the treatment guidelines. They were about also to be launched in Kenya. So we were involved in it, and we validated a document that we were not part of, just validated, and hopefully wishing that they can put the word choice inside the document. We got as much as a footnote saying that there is choice for women. Okay, footnote is way much better. At least I can walk with the guideline and show them the footnote than nothing at all. And what now we have on the ground as of the moment, even the doctors themselves, the healthcare providers, they're also still afraid. And if they're going to issue you the DTG, they can only give you the DTG if you sign a consent form. That is where we are at Kenya. And so I had also other countries, I think Uganda and Tanzania, Alan. I'm also thinking that you're also signing their consent form, right? So you're signing, it's like signing your own certificate of whatever happens. It is out of our hands. And I don't know how we'll get back from this. That is my only fear and worry. How do we get back from this? Contraceptive, there have been this discussion. If you're on effective contraceptive, you can be given DTG. But what is effective contraceptive? When even contraceptive in our country at the moment, we are told there will be a stock out from July. And no one is answering any questions. No one is saying anything. So where does that even leave us? The other thing is we just got a report that was issued, I think, the day before yesterday. There was big number of drugs that expired in the warehouse. And many of these drugs that expired was DTG. So all this time, we've been making noise, we want this, we have a choice, let us have DTG, and then we get that report that some of it actually expired. I don't know what's more sad, that we do not have a choice, as always as women, or that even the drugs would rather expire than it be given to women. So, what I wanted also to note is that we are not blind. We understand the issue. We understand that this is not a wonder pill. We understand that this is not a miracle drug. We understand that there are those fears and there are those concerns that we should raise. And it's important when people know, especially women, so that they can take care of themselves and their born children. We understand this. But also we understand as women, we have a choice. We deserve the choice. No, it's our human right to have a choice. To make a choice, do we want to be on TLD? Or do we want to be on TLE? That's a choice that that is our human right. And I think this is all. So as I close, I want to close with the powerful words of President Obama. I want to echo his sentiments. He says women are not an interest group. In our case, women living with HIV. They are daughters, they are sisters, they are wives, and they are human beings. They are half of the world, and they are perfectly capable of making their own choices about their health. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lucy, for this talk, and I think very interesting for us to see this side of the matter. I'm a gynecologist and I worked in Nairobi, and I know that the driver of adherence to ART is confidence and trust in the healthcare providers. And I think you showed us very well that this confidence and trust in healthcare is very, very important. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I invite the auditorium for questions. Natella.
Natella Rachmanina, Children's National and Elizabeth Glazer Pediatric AIDS Foundation. Lucy, that was very moving. Thank you very much. I do want to ask you, as a medical provider, you mentioned signing the paper for administration of DTG. Outside of that paper, how many times are you asked to sign any kind of papers in regards of your care?
This is the first time I'm seeing something like this.
That's the first paper you ever had to sign.
Yes.
Thanks.
Oh, actually, to note, I'm not on DTG. They have still denied me DTG. But you would have to sign. Yes.
Another question? Number 3.
Sorry, I couldn't the three. Hello, Lucy. Nice talk. That was.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm Polly Claydon from HIV. I'm based in London, and I work a lot with Jackie. She's a very good friend of mine.
Awesome.
So I've been following the what's been going on in Kenya. Do you think that there's going to be a silver lining? Do you think that eventually, once you get past this, the policymakers and the more conservative doctors will be a bit more able to talk about women's autonomy and talk about contraception, or are you still feeling like it's... Because, I mean, I'm always an optimist, otherwise I wouldn't be able to be an HIV activist, and I'm hoping that what happens is that we do open some conversations because of this really unfortunate incident. And I'm also a big kind of something to everybody who works in this line of work. If the NTD signal does go away with dolutegravir, we shouldn't just stop looking at cohorts of women and contraception and what happens, because that's my other fear, is it'll go away and then it'll just be yesterday's news, and 15 years down the line there'll be another drug and we won't know anything about it. But sorry, I'm on my soapbox. It's your turn. Do you think there will be a silver lining?
I think that is yet to be seen. Because now it doesn't mean that we have had a massive breakthrough, that now more women are being put on contraceptive, or that there is a bigger demand, or that the myths and misconception have now faded. People are still afraid of, they still don't understand what contraceptive is in its fullness. We still are not sure of if we have access past July. Will we even get the contraceptive if you're put on contraceptive? There are these many questions that needs to be answered first, and access to be easy for a woman, and also the knowledge on contraceptive to be easy. And also I think the options that we have are very small. I keep arguing on Facebook that we don't have enough options. There are very limited options. So we might now create more demand for the people, probably the women who are afraid. They can now create more demand and ask. But I don't know. Other than that, we'll just have to see. Yes.
Another question in the back.
Hi, I'm Gina Brown. I'm an OBGYN and I'm with Gilead Sciences. My question is, in terms of lessons learned about how to deliver information and how to translate research so that the community understands it, what would be our lessons learned from this most recent experience?
Thank you. It's very important how research is translated, especially to a layman person. Like, don't put fear. If it's not necessary to have to put people in fear, really don't do it. I think it's very easy for you to communicate something without having to put people on fear or causing a scare. Because what we had in Kenya, I don't know about other countries, was just a scare. And that was the most annoying part. You don't have the full data, you don't have the full research, but now you're putting out a scare. So probably that should be worked on when you're translating research. Let it be hopeful. Let it give hope that after this, we don't know the full picture, but after this we will know. But for now, this and this can't happen. It's very easy to communicate that to a person. Yes.
Yeah, I think that what you pointed out, that fear and blaming somebody to do something, and even a woman with birth defects, that is very, very difficult. Because, for example, if somebody's cigarette smoking, as an obstetrician, I wouldn't tell her, that is really a risk factor for preterm, and I show her the pictures of early preterm. That is something we don't mention sometimes, because she will smoke anyway. Just an example. I mean, that is really, and it might have an impact on her adherence even with other drugs, if we do that. So if we switch somebody, it could even think, oh, that's another drug, but how do I know that this drug is safer than dolutegravir? So maybe she's not taking anything, which is the worst case. Like it happened in London in a case report, that a young woman was switched in the 5th week of gestation from dolutegravir to a PI, and she came back after 3 weeks with 1 million viral load. And I think that is really what we should avoid in terms of do not harm.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much. If there are no more questions.